A very good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where and when you're watching us from. My name is Mutathio Ashira Wanyaga, Mojiro wa Baria Karigithi, na Gwehoka Kuma, Ngogo Ciothe Ciumaga Huho, Mũrĩ thayũ. That is a greeting. You know, somebody has just told me that is at Uganga. That is not Uganga. That is a very, very good way of introducing. In Kikuyu, we call it Weta Burukia. And today it's a very nice day. It's a beautiful day. It is the 26th day of July. The year is 2023, and it is good to be back here again to the state of the continent. Today we are talking about protest or petition. Are we looking at this thing that is happening in the country, especially in Kenya, Maandamano? Today, the Maandamano that was supposed to happen today were cancelled by the opposition team. And today we have seen they have been in mourning. They have joined hands with people who lost their loved ones to, just condole with them and follow up with how they're doing. And it is in that spirit also that we want also to discuss this topic and understand what exactly is happening. Are we really protesting, or are we getting ourselves into even more trouble? And joining me tonight, we have an interesting panel lined up for you. We have new faces today who have never been to the show, so we'll get to know them and also just hear what they do. And I'd like to start with Minor to just introduce himself, tell us what he do, anything you'd like to share with us. Minor?
Okay, thank you so much. Our host tonight, Derek Washira from the Washira Rights. I'm Minor John, alias Senator, or otherwise known as Senator. I am a public health officer by profession and a researcher. I'm also a political enthusiast or a community, so a community leader, social leader, a youthful leader. I do some charity and social work back at the community to try and help my community to have a better life and to institute change in from where I come from. So basically, from both my professional work and leadership journey as an aspiring young leader. So thank you so much for the invite, Derek.
Thank you, Minor, also for sparing your time and being here tonight. We appreciate it very much. And also we have Gilbert Stark. Gilbert, please also introduce yourself. Tell us what you do.
First of all, let me thank you very much for this. Let me call it an humble opportunity to be part of this platform. It's my very first time, and I'm actually very delighted. I won't say much. I would say, mimi ni mwanafunzi. Yeah. Mimi ni mwanafunzi.
No worries.
That's all I do. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gilbert, also for being here tonight. I appreciate. I got to know Gilbert through Okoth Opondo, so I also want to appreciate Okoth Opondo wherever he is. Thank you for that, connection. Now, I want to get into the topic of tonight, and Minor, we are seeing that the country has not been at peace. Okay, literally, the country has been up and down, especially Nairobi and many parts of the lakeside region, especially Kisumu. And people are protesting, and people have lost lives. Today, we are seeing the list of the number of people who have lost lives. And I just want to start from this basic question: is it valid? Do you think the protests are valid? Are people protesting for something that is valid or not?
Where I stand as a citizen of this country, a patriot, one who supports good governance and leadership. For me, the protests are not valid. They don't stand a chance to communicate anything that cannot be communicated through the proper channels set out by our constitution. And from the protest, as you have said, there is a list of people who have been have lost their lives, or they have been killed either by police or in whatever form, but protest has led to their death. So for me, it has no validity. it stands out to be something out of order.
Yeah, but Maina, when you're saying that, people are saying that the cost of living has really gone up. Do you share in the same sentiments? Maybe that is valid. That is a valid reason that they have, for protesting. That life has really become expensive.
For something like cost of living,
Mm,
when the cost of living goes up, there are some factors that makes that into being. I mean, what changes the price of cost of life to be from a certain level to the next level? There are so
mm,
many things that are out of control of the
mm,
government, or it
mm,
will take the government also some time
mm,
to address those issues so that we can also stabilize the cost of living to an average level where
mm,
everyone feels they can afford.
mm,
So it doesn't permit you as a citizen,
mm,
a loyal Kenyan, to go on the streets and demolish and protest. In the end of the day, some of them end up losing their lives. We
mm,
end up having property being destroyed. There is anarchy. There is no order. We can't stand that because we are saying that the cost of living has gone up. There are some things that are uh, it's affecting the whole world. Something like inflation
mm,
due to effects like the effects of the war, maybe in Ukraine, or
mm,
the pandemic, COVID-19. It is affecting the whole world. So, what would happen if the whole world would be now protesting on the roads, on the
mm,
streets, because now we are saying that it
mm,
is cost of living that's making us go on the street. Plus, number two, I want us to not to view the success of a government when
mm,
we look at the cost of funga, for example. We did
mm,
not elect a government in place
mm,
just to take care of the cost of unga alone.
mm,
Okay, so don't rate the success of a government or its failure based on
mm,
how much you buy a packet of unga. So
mm.
let us not engage so much into the protest because we are saying that we are after the government try to maybe lower the cost of life.
Yeah.
So we are living it at a different times, difficult times, yes, but protest is not the way to go.
Yeah. Thank you, Mino, for that. What about you, Gilbert? Do you think it is they are having valid reasons to protest?
Uh, for me, on my standpoint, uh, let me just say the way I see it.
Mm,
There's something. There's everything has a reason, eh?
mhm,
And being that everything has a reason, there's two
mhm,
sides to everything, right?
mhm, mhm,
So, in as much as I tend to also, concur and stand with my brother, Maina, uh, very Mzalendo Maina.
mm,
Yeah. So I would tend to, concur with him. But, there's also that other side. I'm not saying that, Mandamano should be the best way to go. But
mhm,
if they are proclaiming that that's a venture or a way that was is put in place as a,
mhm,
as a as a method to address some issues, I think there's just a right way to go about it, right?
mhm,
There's a right way to
mhm,
go about it if that's a solution that people
mhm,
can use. But when you put mannerism into consideration, then validity is taken away, right?
mhm,
So
mhm,
for me, I really can't address much on the Mandamano, but if by the looks of things and the outcomes, then I don't think if this is the best venture. Maybe the opposition should just look at another way to address what they want to address. Solution
mhm.
ikigonga mwamba, let people venture into other solutions. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. But I'm just wondering, why should it then become so much of a problem for people just to address their cost of living? Does it not burn you? Gilbert, there are people who are feeling the burn.
Okay.
There's no other way to express themselves.
Yeah. So personally, I'm also feeling the ban. I'm also
Mhm.
feeling the ban. But
Mhm.
from if you look at it from a layman's perspective, you'll stand with
Mhm.
the crowd. Cindy, you'll stand with the
Mhm.
crowd. But then if
Mhm.
you look at it, vile Maina may address, like there are certain factors that you have to
Mhm.
consider, then
Mhm.
it becomes, inaeleweka kidogo. It becomes
Mhm.
understandable. But I'm
Mhm.
not saying that what is there is something that is good.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that what is there is something that is good. I'm just
Mhm.
saying that
So what are you saying?
I'm
What are you
saying
saying?
I'm
Eh,
saying that if Maandamano should be the only venture, then it should be used very well. No, no.
mhm. Mhm.
It should be whereby the little guys our five kumia, the common
Okay.
wananchi, the ordinary wananchi is our five
Okay.
kumia. It should be used that
Okay.
na kama inaumiza wananchi, then
Mm.
as options ziko hapo, yeah,
Mm.
bipartisan talks and the likes ziko huko.
Mm.
Wacha zitumike, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Gilbert. I hear you. Thank you very much for that comment. Comments have started coming in. Allow me to go through them very quick. We have Live, Laugh and Love. Say tuned. Say hi to Maina, salamu yako hiyo. And then we have Grace Mureithi saying she's tuned. We have Live, Laugh and Love saying cost of living is high in many countries, but if we pay taxes, well, this is gonna be easy. And then he says that the problem with Kenya is politicizing everything. Even these protests are just political battles. Wow, thank you, thank you for your comments. Continue sending them. We'll be responding to them as you send them. Kipto, I can see you now here joining us. Thank you also for being here, Kipto. You were here last week. We were talking about Maandamano also with Wakili Musoma. You're here again. I don't know if you are still having the same, whatever you were saying last week. I don't know if you still have the same thoughts or you have changed your mind. But as you do that, please introduce yourself. Tell us what you do. I don't know if he can still hear us. There's some network issues from his end. I hope he'll be back. Grace Moretti is saying that the protests are indeed valid and Article 37 gives mandate for citizens to demonstrate and picket. People are infuriated, and if the police protected its citizens instead of harming the protesters, protesters. Mm, mm. I hear you, Grace. Thank you for your comment. Uh, Gilbert, now you wanted to first of all establish like how can we call it a baseline to see if truly this protest is valid. And I've heard you guys, whatever you have said. Mina has had his say, you have had your say. But now look at it. Look at it this way: there is a lot of politics, whether it is true or not. Even one person is commenting and saying there's a lot of politics behind it, whether it is valid or not. How can you say in what can you say rather in these issues that are happening, the politicking around protest? The constitution allows it, but there's a lot of politics behind it. What do you read, especially from where you sit, Gilbert?
From where I sit, last time I checked, if
Mm,
something is agreed upon by the Constitution, then
mm,
should there should not be any serious external factor or a variable being
mm,
undermined by the
mm,
activity. Okay, so for example, if Mandamano is a venture, India, people have
mhm,
agreed that they want to, follow the Mandamano route, and
mm,
you have their leaders and the people who are they supporting or they are agreeing with
mm,
that is something that they should be pursuing,
mm,
then it should not lead to a disruption of the normal daily activities, biashara za watu
mhm,
hazifai kuharibika, and the country should just go on, watu wakuwe kwa barabara wanademonstrate wamebeba hizo charts and biashara
mhm.
zinaendelea kama kawaida, like there should
Yeah.
not be any disruptions. Yeah, I believe that's the way constitution agrees upon it. But if there is, loss of property and lives,
Mm,
if it is true, then from my standpoint, I duly believe that a nation is greater than an individual. So wacha mtu arudi chini,
mhm,
watu waelewane,
mhm.
alafu kila kitu ikuwa sawa sawa. Yeah, that's my standpoint.
Okay, thank you, Gilbert. Let us hear what Minor has to say behind, on this issue. What is the politics behind Maandamano, or how do you look at it? The other day we saw, I think, a battle of presidents. Former President Uhuru is saying this. The current president, Dr. William Ruto, is saying this. There's a lot of politics, and yet people are dying. People are sleeping hungry. What do you read, Minor?
So there is too much politics in the Maandamano. First of all, Maandamano is allowed, or is, as people are saying, enshrined in the Constitution under some article. I don't know, Article 37 or in the Kenyan Constitution 2010. So by virtue of it, first of all, being in the Constitution, means that's where the politics starts from, okay? Because constitutionalism and all that is politics by itself. And then now, this is a tool that is being used, and especially by the non-players, to get to power using some other means other than getting elected. We are saying that we don't have to go the Maandamano route, because first of all, we have an election every 5 years, as allowed by the Constitution, or as provided by the Constitution. And then in your constituency where you come from, maybe the population of your constituency is maybe 300,000 people. Some have 400,000, some have the number, which means it's more than a constituency is a group of, or a population, which is more than maybe 10 or 50 or 100 people. So all these people in the constituency, they cannot speak for themselves, all of them. That is why the Constitution says that all power is vested on Kenyans, me and you and the 49 million other Kenyans. But all of us cannot speak at the same time and address our issues. That is why we delegate this power, okay? And through the process of an election, we have the country divided into constituencies. We have 290 elected leaders, a president and a cabinet, plus governors and the senators and the women rep and the MCS, who are the leaders who will speak on our behalf. Because can you imagine if the whole nation, I mean, we cannot speak when we are in, a crowd. That's why I'm saying in the Maandamano route, okay, we cannot find a solution, because at the end of the day, look at the Maandamanos. What solution do they bring? They bring no solution, because at the end of the day, they still have to sit down, have a bipartisan talk, or the so-called handshake outside the Maandamano structure, where now people are sitting down, talking logically, addressing issues one-on-one. So why don't we have something like town hall meetings, town hall conferences with the stakeholders who represent the people back at the communities or the villages or the towns? They come to the town hall meetings, address these challenges to their elected leaders, and then the elected leaders can sit down with the administration or the presidency. And they will pass a point across without causing mayhem, distracting property, and losing lives. So there is too much politics behind the Maandamano. And I want you to look at this. When we had the Handshake Brothers in 2017, 2022 period, the cost of unga rose to around 200 and above, but there was no Maandamano at that time, okay? Things like fuel, the prices went also, the prices also went up, okay? So there was no Maandamano. Why are we forcing Maandamano, or why are we hiding behind the Maandamano right now and trying to claim that we are so sensitive about these Kenyans now? They are suffering, and the price of unga is slightly below 200 shillings. There is also we are having in the next 2 to 3 weeks we'll have produce from the green fields of Trans Nzoia coming in. We have a lot of potatoes from Nyandarua coming in, and we are not addressing such issues and saying that we have a lot of produce. Can we wait for some few weeks or 1 month to come, and then we'll stabilize the price of cost of living? So the Maandamano thing is a gateway to something else that is hidden behind the box, and no one wants to talk about it. We pretend that we don't know what they want. So we ride through the Maandamano, and at the end of the day, maybe if something happens, the Maandamano will be out of question. No one will be talking about it. And
Okay,
Derek, you
okay,
know
okay.
that.
We hear you, Minor. Thank you for your comment. Gilbert, I know you want to react. Please. I see you're looking at your facial expression, and I think you have a contrary opinion. Please go ahead.
Okay, so from the way I see it, let me just say I'm not trying to contradict Maina, but I just, I have this other side of the story that maybe I want to project. You see, having, for example, the whole thing about handshake, bringing very stakeholders in the leadership sector. Leadership, basically, Kenya leadership is a sector. Mali watu wanakula mshahara, it's a sector. Yeah. So, these guys wakikuja pamoja wanasalimiana and all that, and then everybody plays his or her own part, alafu wanaendeleza nchi, there's peace, and then there's no havoc, and wananchi wanasikia vizuri, hata vitu zina hike, watu wanasikia vizuri. So these are same. If we are to be honest, this is the same leaders. They also play a role in the let me just say private sector. These are businessmen, men and women. Wenye wanafanya biashara, and they control some of these very important sectors for economy. I do tend to believe so. And if they don't own them, then they have shares, because people, in as much as watu wanaeleza nchi, or do people have to have a side hustle, sindio? So these guys wakikuja pamoja, and like then good times, good terms, great deals are happening, pesa inafunguliwa, inaflow kwa economy. Unajua, if there is pesa kwa watu, kwa mifuko ya watu, people are working, people are being paid well, people won't feel the pinch of however expensive things might be. People won't feel the pinch. But kama people are not in good terms, and then like kama people are not in good terms, the sectors are also not working very well. We are all human beings. Come on, we are all human beings. Like mono here, like you organize a deal to someone who is even like ana propose, si utanyamaza or you won't give the guy the deal. Now usipopatia the guy the deal, those guys when you employ, see, they won't get anything at the end of the day, sindio? Watakuwa wanapata tu peanuts just to sustain them. Hawatakuwa na like ile proper income when you want experience. So like things like this inakujineka maisha na kwa ngumu. Alafu then our banking system, the fiscal policies, the monetary policies zenye zimetoka from school, unasikia kama ile inaambiwa account yake inafaa iko na pesa kiasi fulani, compulsory. And then that is also a directive, like central bank inaambia like the normal commercial banks, they should have a certain amount, should increase their amounts on their deposit accounts. Wakishafanya, and then like the commercial banks wanakazia wananchi, and then wananchi now wanakazia the various households wenye wanashughulikia. So like maisha inakuwa kuwa ngumu. Yeah. So that's the point. It is not just about like this Maandamano, when you just also tend to look at another perspective yenye exists. Pesa iko kwa mfuko ya watu, like businesses are not doing well and all that. But I'm sure if these guys are to come together and they come to an agreement, signatures zitaanza kuwekwa, biashara zitafunguliwa, and then sectors zitaendelea na this, even petrol watateta. Yeah. Of that, yeah. So that's
Okay, I hear you, but mine had a contrary opinion, saying it's not about the two parties that are determining the the cost of living. We are going to have that discussion a little bit later. Gilbert, you have said once these guys agree, they come into terms. The economy now, you want to tell me the economy will be good and running? That's a question we want to be asking ourselves later. Just hold on there. I see Kipto, you are here. Kipto, you have had a lot of network issues today, and you support this government. I don't know now. These people cannot give you good network, brother. How are you?
Thank you, Ashira, and I must say I'm fine, so fine, doing well despite of the struggle with the economy. So I had trouble with my connectivity today, but I'm glad that I've been able to catch some snippets of what my fellow panelists have had to say, and you know, I'm loving the discussion tonight. I'm loving the sobriety that I see us discussing things with. So Shira, I'm fine. You ask me
Yeah.
if I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah, thank you. And Kipto, I want just you to tell us. You know, we were with you here last Wednesday. You were talking about Maandamano with Wakili Musoma last week, and you had a different view. I don't know if you still share the same view or something changed within the week. Kipto.
No, Ashira, nothing changed because if
Mm,
you can remember well,
mm,
I based my arguments and I based my beliefs
mm,
on reality, on what exactly happens, within government, what government is
mm,
doing,
mm,
to
mm,
correct the bad economy that we are in right now. And
mm,
Bashira, I really do not understand why,
mm,
some people could just sit somewhere and and lie to the masses, to the public,
mm,
and to
mm,
the majority, of course, who are not so well aware or are not so well educated about matters to do with economy. So I wonder why
mm.
people would just sit somewhere and incite people, telling them that government has money and doesn't want to to alleviate the you're living the current bad economy. Uh, it, and it seems to be a belief that a lot of people hold, because in the villages, when I talk to people, people are telling me that government has money, serikali iko na pesa lakini haitaki kutumia, imeficha.
Mm,
It's so sad, and when I hear that, I, I get to understand why people would go protesting and destroying things,
mhm.
because they are not aware of what exactly is happening and what needs to be done. So I still hold the view, and firmly do so, that
Mhm.
the government is headed in the right direction, and that soon we will have a better, we will have uh, our living conditions being improved, and
Mm.
the cost of living,
Okay.
as they claim,
Okay.
will come down. I believe so.
Okay, it's a matter of time. We'll see. You're saying the government is taking the right direction. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I will wait and see. I can see more comments coming in. Hassan, the governor, saying, if you analyze this government cabinet brain and capture the response you get when a question is aired, then you will get a glimpse of why the demos are mandatory. Tuned in, folks. Thank you. Hassan is also saying, I think he's addressing Mr. Miner here, saying that the reason people are considering Maandamano right now is simple. Almost 90% of the basic needs have transformed to luxury, and the government still wants to add more spending in terms of taxes. Then we have Derek Kimata saying he's tuned in. Thank you. Thank you, Kimata, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Now, Mr. Miner, you have heard what Hassan is saying here. And I have heard that you are also saying the government is in sort of in the right direction. I don't know. But, I've just come from a meeting some few hours ago, and people are saying the same thing that is being said here. Right now, everything has doubled, almost doubled. And you wonder, are we going in the right direction? And then you tell these people not to protest. Then what then do you want them to do? What then do you want them to do?
Very well. Elon Musk, a dollar billionaire in the world, who is investing in space and currently in communication, once said that it's very important to teach your children history and physics.
Mm,
He did not choose on maths or science
mm.
or business, but he said you should teach your children what? History and physics.
Okay.
Number, I'll major on history. Why are we, like, where are we as a country right now? Okay. So before you know where you are as a country or as a people currently, you must look at where you are coming from, so that you can also be able to trace or plan for where you want to be. Okay, so learning history is very important for the people of Kenya to understand where we are coming from, the journey we are going through, and where we want to go. Okay, so when Kibaki was leaving this nation or exiting power, he left the country with a burden of debt, which was almost 1 point something trillion. And then son of Jomo, that is Uhuru Kenyatta, took power from Mwai Kibaki. And then in 10 years' time, our debt ceiling, which was almost 8 trillion Kenya shillings, Uhuru Kenyatta took the debt burden from 1.6 to 7 trillion higher. Okay? So William Ruto, when he comes into power, he has a debt burden of almost 7 trillion or 8 trillion thereabout. And our debt ceiling is almost 10 trillion and below, or 9 trillion thereabouts. I can't really quote the exact figures, so I stand to be corrected. So with a country full of a dilapidated economy, okay, where you have no money to run the government, first of all, as a president, okay, you have no money to pay almost the 700,000 or the 1 million civil servants who work for the government day in, day out. You have no money for recurrent expenditure. You have no money for development. And you have no money to mitigate emergencies if they arise. Because those are the forms in which the government spends its money or the income. So, and they say that when you find yourself in a hole, you stop digging. So we are finding ourselves as a nation, we have a debt crisis where we can't really borrow a lot. Remember, the current budget, which is almost 3.5 trillion, needs to be financed. Taxes alone cannot finance that, because taxes were financing almost 1.5 trillion. Okay? And you have a budget of 3 trillion and above, 3.5. You have a debt ceiling where you can borrow 1 point something trillion. So you add 1 trillion from the taxes, you add 1 trillion. If you borrow 1 trillion, you have 2 trillion. So with the 2 trillion, you cannot run a government, and you pay recurrent expenditure, revenue expenditure, you have development fund, and you also mitigate emergencies like COVID-19. That money is not enough. So what does this government do? First of all, it mitigates the debt crisis. And they say that you're not going to borrow from external debtors. Let us stop and handle, first of all, the debt that is already existing.
Okay.
Almost 40% of the government revenue that is being collected by KRA is paying debt, is servicing debts that we are having. Debts that are even dating back to Kibaki's time. Remember something like
the common mwananchi does not care about the debt. They care about the ugali on the table.
And that's why I'm trying to say that they need to be educated, because it doesn't work that way, the way they want. Because look at now, something like Eurobond. Eurobond has a lifespan of 10 years. It will mature next year and we'll start paying as a country. Okay, Eurobond is the money that used to build the SGR. It will mature next year, we'll start paying. So we have a lot of debts. That's why William Ruto is saying, let us stop borrowing, let us generate our own money. Okay, and from some few policy changes and guideline changes here and there within our system, William Ruto in 1 year, he has been able to generate 560 billion, okay, as additional revenue from our local taxes without the finance bill being in action. All right, something like that. Somebody like Mwai Kibaki had an increase of 1 trillion in 5 years. So he has achieved half of that in 1 year. So can you look at where we are going in 5 years? How much money will we have as a nation without borrowing?
Okay.
And that's why we have increase in taxes. we are with increase in taxes, obviously the cost of living will go up, and so we have just to embrace this new change. I know change
Okay.
might take some time for people to accept, but at the end
Yeah.
of the day, we'll get used to it. Worry not.
Okay. Gilbert, I know you're wondering what you'll be eating in 5 years. Senator is telling us we tujishikilie hapo. What are your views also? Because what do you want these guys to do? They have to express these people are human beings. They're expressing themselves, and through the vision of this guy called the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Do you think this is the right way, Gilbert, the country is heading to?
First of all, addressing from a layman's perspective, wananchi, they don't care vile umesema. Na
Mm,
wanataka ku- as long as they wake up in the morning, they do their job, and then they expect
mm,
to be paid, and then they're
mm,
supposed to access what they basically need as
mm,
a necessity, the hunger, as we just said.
mm,
So for me, taking the right stance and standing on a neutral ground, it
mhm,
was statistically said back, after Mzee Jomo Kenyatta's son time, Uhuru,
mm,
when he left
mm,
power. So this
mhm,
guy, when he left power, the country was doing well. And
mhm,
when Ruto got in, he escalated the doing well up to,
mhm,
notice went on a global scale.
mm,
So after the notice going on a global scale, the only turn that was to be taken, the
mm,
country is debt, and we're supposed to pay debt. Of course, that one is there, then Eco. And the only turn of events that were to take place was Maisha
mm,
Ikuingu, what we are actually witnessing right now. If we were
mhm,
to maintain the standards, and of course,
mm,
having the economy doing well, and we
mm,
have, up and apale happening in the country, projects and all that,
mm,
injections coming in. Yeah, part of these resources is in a make like exits going into other sectors. So like
mm,
it's very hard to balance. And so I think like what the government saw, and the
mm,
best way to go was to increase these taxes. And
mm, mhm,
uh, Kenya actually is a canon that is almost coming to an end. So like there was a canon, actually,
mm,
Kenya was a canon where
mhm,
people make like extremely good money, and this money is not even accounted for. It's not
mm,
even taxed. So kama pesa ikui tax, so where does the government get the money?
mhm,
Pesa yenye watu wanapatiwa, the civil servants, hii
mm,
pesa unakuta like civil servants less than 10 million people,
mm,
and unaniambia per capital income and hizo necessities and all those taxes run kwa hawa watu, these
mm,
individuals. So these individuals wakisema wana increase taxes, hao ndo wanaumia, hao ndo
mm,
wanaumia. Tuambiane ukweli, hao ndo wanaumia. So
mhm,
what the government decides to do, kama amwezi taka we get access to what we are getting, honestly
mm,
getting,
mm,
then when tutafanya ni tuta attack the things that you need.
mhm,
That's how it works.
mhm,
Tusidanganyane, that's how it works. So
mm.
unapata all these necessities, normal necessities,
Okay.
taxes inapanda. Yeah,
Mm,
ndo wachipin wa access ile like ile tax rate yenye wanahitaji, ndo like they
mhm,
make this things done. Kenya is industrializing. Kenya is
mhm,
changing, and when industrialization and then these things like gonna take place, huwa
mhm,
kuna kama the country cannot access its national resources to facilitate these things, then they
mm,
basically need to use what is in the the vicious circle of the economy. Lazima hii
mhm.
pesa isipeleke kwa lazima. Also
Okay.
lazima watoe, alafu then inatumika,
Mhm,
inarudi tena kwa yao. And then I think that is one of the, that is when the president was saying he wants to introduce this housing and all that, the
yeah.
mjengo part. And from that perspective, I just think right now
Mhm,
the future of this nation, lies upon the hands of every Kenyan
Okay.
mwenye
Okay.
anafanya. Yeah. That's my perspective. I'm just echoing what Maina said. Like this round, we have to be honest. Watu wanaumia ndio, lakini tunafaa tuelewe kwa nini tunaumia, and then we look for other ways. But I also think that the government is also trying to mitigate this issue. Nasikia kuna shamba imenunuliwa na hata bado mahindi hajakuwa ready. So I think they're trying. Yeah, they're trying. Yeah, they're trying.
Thank you, Gilbert.
Yeah.
Thank you for your comment. Kipto, you have heard the comments of Maina and Gilbert. You are one of the people who keep saying people should stop protesting. And, allow me to be a layman. They are giving, Maina and Gilbert are giving reasons for learned people. Somebody in Korogosho, for example, somebody in Turkana, in Marsabit, doesn't understand what you guys are saying. They don't understand, the issue of Eurobond. The language they understand is Unga. They understand the language. And now you're telling them not to protest. Then what should you tell them to do? I just want an objective, practical solution, if there is any, for you to, just tell these people what they can do. What is the other option? What are the solutions, rather, if you can put it that way, for this situation that we are in, Kipto? Kipto, I'm not sure if you can hear us. Please, if you can hear us, please proceed. Kipto, I think, is experiencing some technical issues, some network issues there. Let him, I think he'll be back. I see more comments coming in. So, Maina, if that's the case, who will pay the money the government is borrowing secretly, but as accounted to over a debt bill, if the government is now using the internal taxes? Protest all the way. As the governor is saying that we should protest all the way. Who's supposed to be to pay the money the government is borrowing? I think Maina will be reacting to that. I'm not sure if now Kipto is back. And Kipto, I don't know if you can hear us. We can't see you. We can't hear you. Okay, he's not around. Maina, please react to this.
Okay, very well. Good question there. They are asking who will be paying for. First of all, government does not borrow money secretly, because in borrowing money, the government acts on behalf of the people, and it's behalf of the Kenyan people, you and me included, and the others who are also not born, but they still be Kenyans. So government does not borrow money secretly because it involves a number of steps where you have to go through before getting money from maybe IMF or World Bank, and then in the process of buying, the president or the assigned minister for that case, who signs on behalf of government, you sign a treaty or a contract or an agreement that is all binding, which means that when it comes to Kenya, to paying, it's the Kenyan government which will pay. Where does the Kenyan government get their money from? It gets their money from the taxes we pay, me and you, and from maybe the sort of levies they raise each and every day, like from the courts and all that. So we will pay for the money. Our parents have been paying maybe for what the previous governments borrowed, and it is just a continuous way, because now we are saying we are Kenyans, we identify with Kenya, and being Kenyans as a community, as the Kenyan community, we have to act on ourselves so that we also develop ourselves the way other people are doing. So that's now the good thing or the bad thing about being a democracy.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Senator, for that. Kipto, did you hear my question before the network troubles?
Yeah, I heard you clearly. So I think I can proceed from there. So among the many attributes of a good leader, one is so clear as day in my mind. And that is that a good leader is one that leads his people to the right direction, despite the unpopularity of his his decisions, his or her decisions. Wachira, we cannot now say that because a lot of people do not understand these fiscal policies that exist and how we spend our revenue collections, and so we just need to borrow more so that we can satisfy the common mwananchi. No, we have to do what is right and what has to be done for the future of this country, because we have an option. The government has an option of borrowing, and lowering the cost of living within very few minutes. But then what will be happening in the future? Because if today we borrowed carelessly, Wachira, and went on with the borrowing spree, and whatever we borrow, we do not even account for it, Wachira, the disaster that will strike this country in future would be off the charts. So I think we the government just needs to do what it needs to do. And in this regard, I'm referring to the opposition, because I know these are mature people. These are people who know that whatever government is doing is right, but because of their political their political lens in mind, they have to be relevant. They have to be in the street. They have to tell the people that they are fighting for their rights. And if Wachira, we look back into the previous years, and specifically the previous government, and I'm not trying to discuss personalities here, but I'm just trying to explain to you and to make you understand how dishonest these people are. The leader of opposition right now entered into an handshake with the previous president, and they worked together, right? The cost of living at that time was high, and when people asked the government why the cost of living was high and they were not doing anything about it, what did the opposition leader say? You remember what he said? That you wache kubweka bweka. Now today he's telling us that you lower the cost of living without even mentioning in passing the solutions they think can be.
The concern here is not about the leaders. The concern is not about the leaders. They are not the people who are sleeping hungry. They are not the people. They might be the people leading them to protest, but they are not the people who are protesting. In the way the manner that they feel it. These people don't feel it. We're talking about tell these people who are feeling it what they should do. What are their solutions?
Wachira, looking at the politics of this country, you cannot talk about the common mwananchi without talking about the leader, because all the actions that and the inactions that we see from the public are always fueled, by the leaders that this particular set of people believe in. If you see those who are pro-government doing something today, it's because the government believes so and has asked them to do so. If you see what those who are pro-opposition doing something, it is because their opposition leaders believe so and they have asked them to do so. In fact, before the opposition asked these people to go to the streets, nobody was even imagining of that. Nobody was even talking of that. And the protests that we see today, Wachira, have not been ignited by the people. They have not been ignited by the people. They have been ignited by these same leaders that I'm talking about.
Then who are the people in the street?
What is going to happen? And what is the common mwananchi?
So who is igniting who now? Come on, let us be honest with each other now.
Who asked these people to go to the streets? Their leaders, right?
They just, I don't know. Maybe you look at it in this manner. These people who are protesting, they're the people who really feel this thing. Yes, the opposition might just be an avenue for them to use it. But we are asking, what are the probable solutions that you guys can tell these people? What other way? You don't want them to protest. What other way do you want them to do?
Washira, I'll just take you back to what I said before. Washira, if our leaders were honest, both of those who are in government and those who are in opposition, if they were indeed honest, we wouldn't be seeing these problems that we're seeing today. How? Because these people, Raila Odinga, who is the leader of opposition and his team, can today end the protest by saying, look here, guys, government is doing something, and we know and we hope and we believe that the future, that the cost of living is going to be lower in the future, whether it's 6 months, whether it's 1 year or 1.5 years. If they come out today and said so, Washira, tomorrow you would not see any protest. You would not even hear of anyone talking about this protest. So that's why I'm really insisting on the.
And I hear you, Kipto. The issue now is that I am asking you, Kipto, look at it not in the perspective of what Raila is saying or what Ruto is saying, but look at that Mwananchi. The fact that Raila will say that there is no Maandamano, that does not change the fact that people are sleeping hungry. You're getting it? Let us address these people. Let us talk to these people who are angry and they are looking for a solution.
Washira, we only have one thing. We only have one solution to end this protest. We have to ask these people to be patient, because there is nowhere government is going to get money and inject it into the people and ask them to to use it meanwhile as they look for other money to lower the cost of living. The suffering has to be there. The pain that we are going through, Washira, it has to be constant if we really want to get to where we want to get as a country. Washira, whatever is ailing this country today and many other African countries is debt servicing. Washira, if today we can do away with the debts, we will have enough to run our economy, and of course that is with efficient and proper collection of taxes.
Okay.
We would have enough, and we would even have some extra cash to loan out to other people and get interest on.
I'm really looking forward to that day. I'm really looking forward to that day, Kipto. Allow me to move on to Gilbert. I can see time is not on our side, and just hear Gilbert's final comment before we wrap up the broadcast, and then back to mine, and then go wrap up with Kipto. Gilbert, and I hope you'll give us probable solution, practical solution. You cannot blame Raila, we cannot blame Ruto, we cannot blame I don't know who and who and who. They're the people who they're not sleeping hungry.
So for me, the solution that I see, I think I've lasted around this world for like 20 years. Yeah. And nimeona mengi, and I've witnessed a lot. So leadership nimeobserve kutoka kindergarten, class prefect, all that, tukakuja mpaka sahi like niko campus. Yeah, to know what is there. So for me, through evolution, when I follow back history, like Kenya, we are on like a whole new level. Like it's like politics is no longer existing. Politics ni kama inapotea. Like now people want to address two interests. So it's no longer like it's no longer politics. People are like are just addressing their issues direct and forward, and using necessary means to achieve what they want. Either conventional or unconventional. So my solution is leadership in Kenya has been standardized. Kuna papers zinaitishwa, watu wakiitisha ni kama kazi. Papers zinaitishwa, they disseminate, unapatiwa nafasi ku contest, and then unapatiwa the right accorded by the constitution ya kuongoza, si ndio? So what I'd say ni our political system is something that is good, siwezi sema kama ni mbaya, but kila kitu lazima iko na service. I just say that way. Kila kitu lazima ikuwe na service. And kama hata gari kama isiposervisiwa unapata like inaanza ku break down ikienda, unaona, ikienda. For me, as a country is industrializing, nchi ikianza kuendelea, I think matters politics ni, let us discuss those issues kama wanafanya time elections. But wakishamaliza like elections, then let us address matters ya wenye like wananchi wanaweza jiendeleza, wananchi wapate chakula, and wananchi waendelee. If matters like politics and leaders should discuss their issues, wacha zichukuliwe, waitane mkutano, waongee, tupate kama briefings kwa news, maisha ikiendelea. Maisha ikiendelea, tupate kama briefings kwa news. And it should not be ati sasa watu walipigana mahali ama watu waliuana mahali. These are human beings. These are human beings. So we should like address like peaceful ventures. Although it's not easy. Vuta ni kuvute, make we are human beings at the end of the day. But watch out, like, these are quiet ventures. Both sides. I'm not talking about like opposition. Both sides. Unaona, like before kufanya kitu lazima niko nimekufanyia kitu. For you to react, I must have reacted. Unaona, so like both sides wakuwe meek and watafute a viable solution, wakuje pamoja, they address themselves waelewane, alafu then they address the country na wakuwe honest. Miki tunaona inatusumbua ni honesty. Hakuna like honesty from both sides. Watu wataki ukweli, haitaki like isemekane. Ukweli isemekane. Let us be honest and like this is the way tunafanya. It is like venye naona like these guys in government wanafanya. Iko hivi wanafanya hivi alafu inakuwa hivyo. And then like pia oppositions pia waamue wanafanya hivi wanakuwa hivi, alafu then wasiaddress only the positive side, waangalie pia the negative side. Kitu kama italeta ara, wanafaa waachane na then they address something else, alafu nchi iendelee vizuri. Mimi, it is not my wish to see my brothers and sisters suffering at because like mtu anajaribu kuaddress a solution. Kama watu wanaumia, waachane nayo. Kama ukilima and that thing inakumiza kiuno, si uachane nayo. You take a few days off, utakuja tena uendelee kulima. That is how we do it. Kama utafute pesa, uandike mtu mwingine mwenye ako na nguvu alime. I hear you. The right solution, the right solution. So my view is Kenya, we are at least heading in the right direction. We're at least heading in the right direction. And if this is not right, then time is the best teller. Time is the best teller. Time is the best teller. Alafu pia tuache kitu kifanyika kwa nyumba. I'm using a layman's language. Kitu kifanyika kwa nyumba, wacha ikuwe ni ya nyumba. Hata mlango kibisho, tunafaa tuseme mambo iko sawa. And then tuendelee pamoja, alafu nchi iendelee. So that's
thank you Gilbert for that. Thank you very much. I can see Valentine Joroge saying tuned in. Thank you Valentine for that. And we see Live Laugh and Love saying let's be off the streets to chape kazi, we build Kenya, Maandamano is not the solution. And then we have Hassan the governor saying Maina hapo umetucheza, this government is having a part of external borrowing without following the protocol, without including the Parliament. There is a lot of surprises from the ruling government. And then it's also saying, Kipto, are you addressing the common mwananchi paying no more taxes and buying sugar at 400 shillings, unga at 200 shillings and paying escalated school fees to be patient as a solution? Okay, we hear you. As the governor is also sharing his comments there. Minor Senator, please, time is not on our side. Let us be brief and just let us hear your final comments. What do you have to tell us as we wrap up the show, Minor?
So first of all, let us know that leadership is one of the most critical and very valuable professions in the world, because it affects your life in one way or another, whether you like it or not. So that's the first point. Secondly, change takes time. Okay, it might take more than one president, more than 1 year, more than one term, more than one government. Because you look at the things we are facing right now, somebody like Jomo Kenyatta tried to solve those issues. So let us, as Kenyans, give the government time to roll out programs like manufacturing, industrialization, so that we enable our people have the capacity to satisfy their needs. Okay, so let us first of all be patient, be patriotic, take part in building your own nation by being a patriotic citizen who pays also their taxes and is responsible. Because on one hand, you cannot claim that you want maendeleo, and on the other hand, you don't want to pay taxes. It doesn't work like that. So let us give the government time. Let us allow them to implement their programs, and Kenyans should stop this cunning behavior that they have. Like, look at Moi's time. They said that Kenyatta one was better. During Kibaki's time, they said maybe Moi was. During Uhuru's time, nani alikuwa sawa. Sasa right now, they want to say that Uhuru is better than William Ruto, you know. And let them embrace what we call hope, because hope is what makes you move tomorrow and the other day. So the government does not really get elected to come and sort your basic needs, immediate basic needs like food and how you travel and all that, rent and sort of. The government is there to ensure that the environment in which maybe you as a person do your business, the way you live, security and all that is good to enhance your proper living. Okay, so let us stop judging the success of a government or a president by the price of oil that is on the supermarket shelf. Okay, so as Kenyans ourselves, let us work hard, embrace change. Okay, believe in the promise of tomorrow as we also embrace change. Okay, and we should stop struggling to keep what we call status quo. When change comes, you should also change yourself and the ways of living that you have day in, day out. Stop living in 1964 and you are in 2023. Yeah, so that's my parting shot.
Thank you, Minor Senator, for that. You know, you've just reminded me something Kipto was saying some time back, Kafa Kafogo, when Kiambu was hot, and I was wondering, Kipto, all the way from Wasingishu County, what is he talking about in matters of Kiambu County? Kipto, I don't know if you can still hear us. You know, you have been experiencing a lot of network issues. Please give us your parting shot. Time is not on our side. Let us wrap up.
Oshira, having been so unlucky tonight to be part of this conversation from the beginning, I hope you'll allow me some latitude to also add something on my parting shot. Oshira,
please be brief. You know, please be brief. You should be part of the protesters protesting for network.
Oshira, there is a problem in this country. The cost of living is high. The protests are adding up, salt to the wound. But then, what are the solutions? What solutions do we propose as, people who are at least aware of what is happening in the country? Number one, Washira, is we need to have honest, people who are in government and those who are in the opposition. That is number one. Number two, the situation that we are in today and the situation that many African countries are in today is because of what I would refer to as the debt trap. And this debt trap is from the Bretton Woods institutions, that is the IMF and the World Bank. And this debt is really killing us big time. A lot of problems we can attribute to the debts that we are trying to service. most of these debts, we get them from the IMF and the World Bank. And one thing about these institutions is that they control even our fiscal, how we structure, we build our fiscal policies, because we have what we call the structural adjustment projects, where when these people give you loans, they accompany to them with instructions on what you need to do and what you shouldn't do, and what in fact you need to stop doing that you've been doing. That is number two. And there's a discussion I would like you to bring us one day about this ongoing discussion on whether the African countries should team up and and default the debt payment. And the other time someone was saying that the debt that we owe to this institution should even be used as a deposit to the repatriation that the Western countries need to do.
But come on,
what they took away from. No. That's why I asked you to have this discussion one time here.
Okay, we will schedule it.
Because it's a whole other discussion. So on my parting shot to Ashira, I want to ask all the 190 who are watching us tonight, and those who who still believe that Maandamano can help us. Gilbert said something that when something is not working and when something is causing more harm than good, you need to stop it. Whether you perceived it initially as a way to to getting solutions, when it starts hurting, you just need to stop and probably look into other probable solutions. What I would ask all the 190 who are watching us tonight is to be patient. Let us be patient with this government, and let us also pay taxes. Tax evasion is really ruining us big time. We have two things: tax evasion and money. What I would call money laundering, illegal cash flows. Because we steal and then we take the money away to to other overseas accounts. The chair to the SRC Commission said something a while ago that when you steal, that at least when you steal, of course, stealing is immoral and we are all against it. But she said that when you steal, at least invest in this country, right? It was weird. It sounded weird, but those are things that we really need to speak into. So let us be patient with this government. We hope, and personally, I have a very strong conviction that the government is doing what needs to be done, and that in the near future, 1 year or just a few years, we are going to get to where we want. So let us be patient with this government. Let us give it time to to lead us. So thank you so much, and I hope next time I'll my local government will have provided good network connectivity here, so that I'll be able to make the forum. Thank you so much.
Talk to them. I don't know if they don't hear you. I don't know if you use the language of protesting.
No.
Okay, I can see more comments coming in. Mordecai saying you've already given these guys enough time. And from the trajectory they have taken, there is nothing that the current KK government will ever do to improve stuff. They have no plan. And he says, this is addressing Minor. Senator, hard work honestly works when we have a meritocratic society. The tribalism we see in the government appointment is worrying. Thank you. Thank you, everybody who sent in their comments. We really appreciate. Thank you very much. There is no time to continue. I think this discussion should be taken into another day, but right now time is not on our side. We have to go, and I have to appreciate everyone who sent in their comments, everybody who commented. We appreciate you very much, and in a very special manner, allow me to thank Minor Senator Kipto and Gilbert Stark for availing themselves to have this discussion with us. This should be an ongoing discussion. This country should start having the culture of discussions that are always continuous, because that is how society will build itself and enable itself to be better. And I want to urge everybody to keep it tuned here. On Sunday we have another show on Sunday, so keep it tuned. But for now, we want to say thank you very much for watching. My name is Mutadio Ashira Wanyaga. Dayo.